Hello again. Today we are making a mermaid tail wreath out of the Dollar Tree mermaid tail wreath form. How cute is that? So I am making mine. It's not going to be a wreath by itself. This is going to be used on another wreath as like an attachment. So I am using a white metallic mesh, a light purple metallic mesh, and then I have this like mint green colored mesh. So for this tutorial, we're going to be making like the bottom here out of ruffles out of these three colors, and then I'm going to be wrapping the body part of it with this mint. So we are going to get started. You need, of course, your three colors, wreath form, handful of zip ties, and I'm going to start by doing the bottom part. So we'll set that aside, and what I'm going to want to do is cut my mesh into 10-inch pieces. I'm going to be doing mainly purple and white, and I'm just going to do a couple pieces of this color to tie it in. So let me first cut off the nasty edge. All right, let's see. So I'm going to start with cutting, let's see, we'll start with 6 pieces of each, and then if I need more, I can cut more after. So I'm going to cut 6 pieces of the white and 6 pieces of the purple. We're using 10-inch pieces. So we'll do that real quick. It doesn't have to be exact. These are going to be ruffled up and folded, so you just need it about 10 inches. And I might not even need 6 pieces of each, but we'll see. Make sure to check out some of our other videos. I'm going to try and use the same wreath form to do a pineapple and then probably like a margarita glass. That one sounded really fun, so make sure to check out our YouTube channel. Let me cut off this edge. All right, so again, I'm going to do 6 pieces of the purple that are 10 inches each. Hopefully I have enough. This is just a remaining amount off the bolt, so we'll see. Well, for the purple, I'm going to have enough for 5 pieces. No worries. Okay. So, get some of these zip ties handy. Let me move this out of the way. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to unroll this, and my cut edges I'm going to stack on top of each other. So both cut edges are on the same side. This is the cut edge, and this is like the finished edge of your mesh. Where the cut edge is, you're going to gather it. You're not just going to like smush it. You want to actually gather it like an accordion, up, down, because you want it to have good like ripples. Like this, and then I kind of am going to flatten it out. So that is how it should look. I'm going to trim this after, but we'll make a whole bunch of these, and they're attaching right onto the bottom here. So you have your ruffle, you have your zip tie. I always kind of start the zip tie first. And we are going to put this right into it. About 1 inch from the end. Actually, let me clean up some of this first. There's going to be pieces of mesh everywhere. Yeah, so even out the end once you ruffle it. Bring it in, and then you just pull this nice and tight. snug as you can get it. You don't want this slipping out. And then you're going to cut that. Now don't worry about this because when you do your next ruffle, it's going to cover this. So don't worry about that. So I am going to do, I'm going to alternate my pieces so it's more scaly looking. I'm not going to do like all purple then all white. I'm going to mix it up. So let me start zip tie. And I'm kind of doing it like this one is going on this outer edge. This one's going to go in between. It's not, I'm not doing one per like this here. I'm going to just kind of space them out. I'll probably do 4 along the bottom. So I'm going to start my zip tie. So all I have to do is kind of set my mesh in. Unfold this. I'm going to line up the cut edges. And I'm going to ruffle it. And I'm going to even out the ends a little bit. Technically it won't show anyway, but I have to have it clean. I'm going to stick it right in there through the zip tie, and then I'm just going to pull the zip tie as tight as I can get it. And these are kind of overlapping a little. You can see. You know, it's hard. I'm on a light colored background and these are light mesh. Maybe I should, if this helps you guys. All right, so that's how it's looking. My next one's going to be purple again, and I'll make it so this side of the mesh is always overlapping. If that makes sense. All right. Oh, let me get my zip tie ready. It's way easier that way. Okay. So we're going to line up the cut edges again. Do a nice ruffle. Going to even it out a smidge. Stick it in. And pull it tight. Cut this part. And then I'm going to do one more white one, and then I'm going to go up. And I'm going to work my way all the way up here, and then we'll start wrapping. Gather it. And I forgot to get my zip tie ready again. Okay. Even this out. And zip tie it on. Okay, so I ended with the white one, so when I go up, I'm going to do purple. Line up the cut edges. Ruffle it. I don't think I'm ever going to remember to start my zip tie ahead of time. I have to keep adding it on every time. Even that out. Okay, so we're going to add this in. And technically this will be able to slide up and down on the bar. So after you add it, you can always make it higher or make it lower. You just want to make sure that the bottom is covering this part of the white. So we'll slide it down a little. And once it gets more full, it all fills in anyway. Trim that. Get my zip tie ready for the next one. Okay, so the next one's going to be the white. Actually, you know what? This would be the perfect time to put one of these in. I just want a couple of the mint. That way it just kind of brings the whole thing together. So we'll start by just cutting 2. Okay, so bring the edges together, gather it. Cut the excess off. I'm going to slide it right in, and I'm going to let the same side overlap. All right, pull it tight. And now I'm going to do the white. And as I work my way up the tail, I'm skipping this bar here. I did this bar for the purple. This bar is going to be the mint, and then this was the white, and then I'll do the purple on this outer edge. So I'm not doing it on each peg. Slide it right into there. And I don't want to end with the same pattern, so I am actually, I'm going to add a zip tie to this one right now. I'm going to do white on the outside and the purple on this peg. That way the colors are flip-flopped on the edges. So I'll do a piece of purple right here on this zip tie. And I might do another tutorial where all of the bottom is a solid color, like the same color mesh, and then the top is a different color. I want to show as many different examples as I can. When cutting zip ties, make sure you don't accidentally snip through the mesh. Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. It's hard to tell the colors on the screen because they're so light of shades. Okay, so I'm going to do white and then purple and then a mint maybe and then purple again. I don't know. We'll see. It's trial and error. Basically, you just want to make sure you're not putting all the colors together in one spot. Just make sure you're pulling the zip ties. You want them super tight. Okay, so yes, I'm going to do a mint one. And as I'm going up the fins, or I don't know what part of this is called, this row is only going to need 3 because it's getting smaller as we go up. Which will be perfect because I only have one purple piece left. Make sure all the ends get in there. I love the way that this is looking. It looks so cute. Cut the zip tie. I hope you guys are able to see it well. It's super cute. Okay, so I think I'm just going to do one piece of white, like kind of in the middle. I might do two pieces of white just next to each other. Let's see. Depends on how big the ruffle fans out. So I can end it like that, but I'm probably going to do two pieces of white right here, and then we're going to start wrapping up the frame. Some of that off. All right, so this is going to be the last piece for the bottom half. And I'm kind of putting it in, it's hard to tell, but I'm putting it inside there so it doesn't slide up. All right, so the bottom half is done. So it should look like that. I used, let's see, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we used 13 ruffles total for the bottom. Now I'm going to take this mint and we're going to wrap all the way up the tail. I'm going to... Okay, so I don't cut any pieces, you leave it on the roll. I'm going to take the cut edge, and first let me start my zip tie. I'm just going to start on one side. It doesn't matter which side you start on. It's just going to be on this outer bar. Okay, so I'm going to start with the cut edge of the mesh. I'm going to ruffle it kind of the same way we did the other pieces. You just want to bunch it up nice and small. Okay? You can even cut this edge off if you want. Okay, so we are going to be sliding this down and into so the ends don't show. So it's going to go in towards the inner part of the tail. That way it doesn't stick out. Just get it as nice and snug. And then this is the easy part. We're just gonna wrap. So I want it wrapped tightly because it makes the color more vibrant. If you fan it out like this, it's gonna be very see-through. I don't want that. So I'm gonna go multiple times around the bottom so I for sure can cover these. And I'm gonna be pulling it pretty tight because I want the color being as vivid as possible. And I'm gonna just play around like it's gonna be wrapped around the bottom a few times because I want to make sure all those zip ties are getting covered. Once I am confident with how the zip ties are covered towards the bottom of the tail, then I'm just going to start wrapping upward. Get that nice and tight on there. Alright, so I'm basically gonna hold my mesh the same. Let me uncurl it a little bit. And I'm gonna be rotating the wreath form. And I'm just gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna overlap it as much as I need to make it not see-through. I don't want all the bars showing. Now when I get to here, I'm going to zip tie this bottom. Let me flip it over. On the back side, I'm gonna zip tie this to here just so it doesn't go up and down. And then I'm just gonna keep wrapping like normal. You don't wanna zip tie on the top, you wanna zip tie on the underside. So I'm just gonna add a little zip tie here. Just enough to basically hold this mesh in place. And I'll just do it as I'm going up if it starts to get loose, because it is a curved edge, so it's hard to keep it from sliding sometimes. Go this way. Okay. And then you're just gonna keep wrapping. This is the easiest part. Okay, so we are getting to the top, and you don't want it to slide off. So we're gonna wrap it really good. Make sure it's nice and flat and not going in and out. And I am going to be, again, zip tying on the back side on this bar here. So I'm bringing this mesh around the front and to the back, and then I'm zip tying. Turn my zip tie to the right direction. Get it all twisted. Okay. Pull it nice and snug. This will keep the mesh from popping off the edge. You can see. So it goes right to the top and then it stays. I'm going to roll this in as best I can. And I don't want this to, if you were hanging this on a door or something, you don't want this to scratch, so you want to kind of turn it inward if you can. Or you could cover it with like a piece of felt. But I just flipped it so the cut edge is on the inside. And I'm going to go to this end. I'm going to do the same thing. So we are going to be zip tying on the back side. Now on the front side, you don't want this cut, you don't want to cut your mesh and it just show. So, let me make sure I flip that. I'm going to be cutting a good distance, and I'm going to be tucking it. Here, let me show you. Cut about, it doesn't have to go to here, so I'm just going to cut a good chunk so it's remaining. Side. I'm going to bring it in here, and I'm just going to kind of go over this bar, and I'm going to be gluing it. So it's hard to tell on the camera, but I'm basically going to be sandwiching the bar between the mesh. Like there's mesh here and mesh here, and I'm going to be gluing it like this and tucking it kind of under so it's covering that, and then this fluffs up, you can't tell. The biggest thing is don't accidentally burn your fingers. And I'm just going to use a little bit. A little bit of glue. And this mesh kind of bring this, you can spread this mesh up a little bit so it's kind of covering it. And add a little dab of glue down here just to kind of hold the mesh in place. You need those little gloves that protect your hands from heat. Okay, so this could totally hang on your door as is. You could add a bow down here. You could do whatever you want, but that's just how you make the mermaid wreath tail. Check out, I'm going to try and link the other video in the comments below. I'm going to be attaching this onto like a mermaid themed wreath. So make sure to subscribe to our channel and watch all our videos. Happy crafting!